In New York City, and I do the zombies.
Okay. And so I want to ask you. So so it's in addition to creating these fantastic paintings, you're involved with Marvel and DC, right?
Right.
So
Correct,
can you talk a little bit about your involvement and what is it that you do with them?
Yeah, I'm a freelancer, so I work for everybody. For the last 10 years, I've been working primarily with Marvel.
Hi, thanks for joining us for Two Guys in a Comic Book. I'm your host, Mike Pooh, and I'm here joined by Mike Mason, aka Big Mike.
All right.
Let's go, Big Mike.
Yeah, man. Doing good. How are you?
Good. I'm doing well. Yeah. So tell us a little bit about yourself, and what's your involvement in the comic book / anime / cosplay arena?
Okay, so I've been reading comics since I was 7 years old. My uncle gave me a box of old comics, and I instantly fell in love. I was like, wow, this is the greatest thing since sliced bread. And it was a bunch of like Spider-Man comics. It was some X-Men stuff in there, mostly Marvel. And I was already familiar with like watching the old Batman show, and the old cheesy one with Adam West. So it was just kind of like a natural progression. So I've always read comics, never stopped. I got into cosplay around 2005. First cosplay was Blade.
Good choice.
Yeah. That movie really did a lot, for me back then. And I don't know, I just progressed. I have so many cosplays at this point, but it's been an interesting journey.
Yeah.
In comics, it's kind of like my passion.
Yeah, and I noticed on your Instagram you have almost 3,000 posts.
Yeah.
I have almost 100. But I noticed, specifically, out of that almost 3,000 posts, a lot of it is Black Panther.
Yeah.
So I would say that you're a Black Panther fan.
I am. Yeah. I am a Black Panther fan.
Let's see. Oh, you wear a Black Panther t-shirt.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, all right. So let me ask you, what is it with Black Panther that you connect with so much? I mean, why not Superman or Green Lantern or why not any of those other than why Black Panther?
Well, for me, with Black Panther, it's kind of like something to strive towards. You know how you mentioned Superman?
Yeah.
So Superman is that person to strive to be, but you can't really get there. You know what I mean? Like the guy can fly,
right.
he can lift trucks. You're not going to get there. But Black Panther's kind of the person that gives, speaking for myself and other people of color, it gives us something to strive for. I mean, it's a great story. He's a king. He's very noble. He's just a very righteous and justice person, and that's what he wants. And he rules very fairly.
Okay.
And he also kicks butt when he has to. So
yeah. I think that's like when I was a kid, and I think maybe I was 7 or 8. So we asked around. I asked my friends in class, which X-Men mutant you wanted to be, and across the board, we all wanted to be Wolverine because he was the kick butt type of mutant, but also he was human, so you didn't have to sacrifice too much, and still you kind of had you had the best of both worlds. Right. So
honestly, that was one of my answers back then as well. Wolverine, oh my God, Wolverine. When I was a kid, when the X-Men show came on, I don't know if you remember that one, the old Fox.
The 90s, right?
Yes, the 90s X-Men show.
That's the best one.
I still am, huge Wolverine fan for a very long time. Because I remember for a time, my mom wasn't very well off. So I could pick one comic book to read a month. And for at least 5 years straight, that one comic book was Wolverine comic.
Okay.
Yep. For about 5 years straight.
So I'm sure you've seen the Black Panther movie, right?
maybe 20 times.
Okay, maybe 20. That's it. That's it. So I gotta ask you, what did you think about the movie? I mean, compared to the cartoon, compared to the comic books. I mean, what did you like? What didn't you like?
I think Ryan Coogler, who's the director, did a great job. I was very impressed with what they did, how they built the world of Wakanda. I mean, it was magical. It was a great experience. Now, let's see, what would I change? Nothing was bad in my opinion.
Okay.
However, the CG at the end, like the fight at the end,
Yeah.
it was a little sketchy.
Okay, it was
I grew up in the 80s and 90s,
Okay.
so I like, live action fights. So I would have liked more live action as opposed to CG.
Okay.
But other than that, it was great.
Okay. What did you so compared to how they portray Black Panther in the comic books, right?
Mhm.
You think that was a pretty accurate portrayal? You know, a lot of times different directors, different productions, they want a newer version or a different version.
Right.
So what do you think of this version we have today?
I think they nailed it.
Okay.
I think they nailed it. Because Black Panther in the comics, T'Challa, he's still the same essence that Chadwick Boseman portrays. He's very, like I said, regal. He's very just. He's very kind. He has a big heart.
Yeah.
I think T'Chaka summed it up very well in the movie when he said, "You're a good man with a good heart,
Okay.
and it's hard for a good man to be king."
Right.
And so that line was probably my favorite line in the movie.
Got you right here.
Yep,
Yeah.
it was probably my favorite line in the movie, and it actually sums up T'Challa perfectly.
Okay. So I gotta ask you, Killmonger.
Yes.
Okay. Good guy or bad guy?
Oh man, yeah, it depends on who you ask. So, in my opinion, this version of Killmonger, he had the right idea but the wrong execution.
Okay.
I would side with T'Challa as well when it's like, hey, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
However, we're not going to wage war against the rest of the world.
Right.
That's just not what we do.
Yeah, it's tough, you know, and
Yeah.
I felt like I almost felt like what happened at the end of the movie, it was like just a huge misunderstanding.
Yeah,
You know?
exactly. I think if they had time to come up with another plan, they could have come to a common ground.
Okay. So we're gonna take a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back with Big Mike, more Black Panther talk.
So we're back with Osiris. Now, Osiris, have you seen any of the Marvel films? Yeah, what's your favorite one?
The newest Avengers Endgame.
Endgame. Okay. Was it pretty long?
Yeah, like 3 hours.
Okay, good. So there's one coming out today, right? Called Dark Phoenix.
Oh,
Yeah, you gonna watch that?
yeah, definitely.
Okay. Can I come with you?
No.
No. Okay. Next time. Okay. So one more question. Do you have a special pose that you want to show everyone, like a very awesome, cool Doctor Strange pose?
Yeah.
All right. That's it. Great. Thank you so much.
Questions for our clients?
Questions for our clients, anything. This is where we kind of do that. So don't be shy. Does anybody have a question?
I'll come down.
And we're back with Big Mike. So Big Mike, with Black Panther, I think it's no mystery you're also a big Marvel fan.
Yes.
So the big question that I'm sure everyone is talking about is Marvel versus DC.
Yes, I hear that a lot.
Marvel, from my experiences from people that I've talked to, they're here and DC's here. But in your opinion, why do you see it that way? Why do you think that is?
Well, I see it that way number-wise in the movies. Comic-wise, actually, for the past few years, DC was outselling Marvel, comic book-wise. But I'm a huge fan of both, to be completely honest with you. But Marvel's formula, Marvel Studios' formula in the movies, it just works so well. They took Kevin Feige, who they trust, and say, hey, you build our universe, We're going to trust you. We're not going to, dip our toes in the water too much. And they let them go with it. And we see how successful they are. I think the problem with Warner Brothers and DC is just the fact that the executives, I think they have their hands in the pot a little too much. They don't have a guy they can actually just trust to build the universe. I think Zack Snyder did a good job with the Watchmen movie.
Okay.
And because if you watch that movie, it's basically frame for frame of that comic.
Right.
I mean, word for word almost as well. So they were like, oh my God, like he made a comic book movie like directly based off the comic book. Give him a universe. Like, okay, like prove yourself a little bit more first.
Right. You know what I find pretty interesting is that for me growing up, so I'm gonna be perfectly honest with you, I didn't watch Iron Man growing up. I did not know the history of Iron Man.
Mm-hmm.
I also didn't connect with Captain America.
Okay.
And a lot of the Avengers, that's shown in the movie the past 10 years. Who I knew growing up was Batman, Superman, pretty much I think more DC guys.
Right.
For me, on the Marvel side, I'm an X-Men guy. So I can answer a lot of X-Men questions. But the Avengers, I just didn't connect with it. Maybe because I don't know, I didn't see them on TV as much.
Right.
But I just didn't connect. But for some, I don't know how they did it, and the way the Marvel Studios has put this whole thing together on film. I am a huge Iron Man fan. I'm a big Captain America fan, and it's like, wow, where was I the past 30 years?
Yeah. It's funny because so in the 90s, each of those characters you mentioned, well, besides Captain America, had a show. Right. So there was an Iron Man show. Right. There was a Fantastic Four show.
I remember that.
Yep. Yeah, and there was even an Incredible Hulk show.
Okay.
Not the live action, but there was a cartoon as well. But I got a lot of exposure through the Marvel guys as well, through those old TV shows that came on Saturday morning. I would get up early Saturday morning.
Me too.
And watch so much. I remember Dragon Ball when it started coming on DC 20 back in the early 90s.
Was that the English version, or was that the?
But it would come on like 6 in the morning.
Okay, and you got to watch that.
Yeah, one Saturday morning, I have no clue why. I had to go to the bathroom or something.
Right.
I got up and I couldn't go back to sleep, so I turned the TV on, and Dragon Ball was on, and I was like, oh my God, what is this? This is the greatest thing ever. So this is dating me right now. I went and got the TV guide.
Okay.
And I got the TV guide. I looked it up. I was like, it's called Dragon Ball Z. And when does this come on? So you look and see when it comes on. And I would set my alarm every Saturday morning. And then I would start at 6 a.m. with Dragon Ball Z and just go down, the line of all the, shows that would come on at that point. And I was very up on pop culture because my Saturday mornings were spent in front of the television.
No, I honestly,
sugary cereal.
Yeah, as a grown man now, I sometimes wish they still have that.
Yeah.
I would dedicate my Saturdays to watching those cartoons.
Yeah, that'd be a great time, especially like with kids and everything else. You just sit there, hey, entertain yourselves, children.
Yeah, I know. But, I gotta say, back to the Marvel versus DC. It just, I thought about this earlier today actually. That individually, like Batman, I mean, it's not just a character. I mean, Batman is a household name, right? Superman as well, and some of the other characters. But then I felt like when they came together for the movie, something didn't connect. Mm-hmm. And it's like, for example, you have this all-star team, but then when they come together, it's like, okay, well, we're missing something here for some reason.
I think it was a spark. See, what Marvel did, they were able to build a universe. They had basically the characters they had in the Avengers pretty much each had their own separate films that people came to love before they put them all together. DC did, okay, let's do Man of Steel, then let's have Batman and Superman fight, and then it's the Justice League. It's like, maybe you should have, broken this up a little bit more.
Yeah.
A lot, like, just think if Aquaman had came out before they did Justice League.
Right.
It would have been way more successful.
Okay.
Like you did Aquaman, say, maybe even a Batman movie, like Man of Steel, maybe a Batman movie, right? Aquaman, Wonder Woman. Then people would have been like, oh my God, because Wonder Woman and Aquaman were great.
Yeah.
Man of Steel, to me, is underrated. I actually really like Man of Steel.
Okay.
Underrated movie, in my opinion. However, if they had done it like that, at least those 4 films first, and then said, okay, Justice League, it probably would have been way more successful.
So you think the formula wasn't, the wrong formula was applied?
Yes, yes. Marvel took their time, built their universe with care, TLC, tender love and care, and DC was like, Justice League, take it! And we're like, we don't want it! Because you didn't give us anything else to like.
Fair enough, fair
So
enough.
there you go.
Okay, alright, so we're going to take another commercial break and we will be right back in a few minutes. And for those of you guys who don't know his character, he is the Green Ranger. So, Clark, let me ask you, how did you, of all the Rangers, why did you choose the Green Ranger?
It's something when we were growing up back in Power Ranger was a big show. And when I got home from school, all 5 of my cousins were paid for the colors. So we were using them live. So going down or going up? And then they came out with the Green Ranger, so I was like, okay, I'll be the evil Green Ranger. And then somehow he became the most popular. And it just stuck with me throughout my childhood. Green Which one? Green car, green, like literally everything I had is green.
So why this Green Ranger versus, let's say, another Green Ranger with different season? Why Tommy?
The original I grew up with, like I was born in '89, and growing up watching him, like I watched both. Growing up or going down? I think it's the Japanese, both versions, like the Japanese and the US. There's a lot of different in them, but like I love how Jason David Frank played Tommy Oliver. Me too. It's just like instant classic, and when I grew up, I was like, I wanted to be a Power Ranger, but the only Power Ranger that I would ever want to be is Green Ranger, so I had to go and get it when I got a board game.
So here at the Comic Con, there's lots of impressive costumes, but I think your costume might be one of the better ones I've seen. So can you just kind of guide us through like how you got to make this? How did you go about having this setup? This looks original.
Yeah, it's actually I commissioned Annie Cosplay to make this, and he's actually officially licensed by Saban to do the costumes and how good he is. And the helmet, the suit, the shield, the boots, the gloves, all made by Anarchy Cosplay. And it took a while, but it took a lot back and forth between emails and stuff, but finally, because he's in Taiwan, when I couldn't be happier with like the result, and I got a lot of confidence.
So are you from Taiwan?
No, I'm from Vietnam.
Okay.
But originally, I actually just got this today. The dagger. Originally, I didn't have one, so I made one myself, and it's actually in my bag. It's the 3D handmade, painted, so everything is. I'm so glad that I finally have an updated version of it.
So can you show us? So I think for me personally, you know, Green Ranger was one of my favorites as well. So I don't know because he's evil. I don't know. I like that too. You know? But I'm very impressed by this. So can you kind of show us the sword? Well, you do a few moves and kind of show us a couple of.
I can try, but this sword is actually not the original Sword of Darkness. It's actually one that I found at AwesomeCon, and it just looks so good. It reminds me of the Sword of Darkness, so I just went with it. But I still want to modify it a little bit so that it fits the Green Ranger a bit better. But I figured since it's the updated version, the Bat and the Sun version, instead of the original Green Classic, I went with an upgraded Sword of Darkness.
Wow, okay. So will you be entering any kind of like cosplay or costume or contest or anything like that?
Probably not this time because it's so hot now. I just want to like get ready for the party tonight.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah. Well, I'd say if there's a contest, get my vote. This is awesome. This is awesome. So yeah, this is for me. It's awesome to kind of see that. Nobody knows it. So thank you. Yeah. am here with Arthur, the Zombie King. So Arthur, you got some amazing artwork here. I mean, I see the Hulk, I see pretty much the Avengers Squad, Superman, Deadpool. Can you tell me a little bit about your artwork and how did you come up with all this,
And we're back with Big Mike. So Big Mike, stepping away a little bit from the Marvel versus DC universe. So I understand you also do some stunt work on the side.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about your stunt training.
Okay, so I was a member of the DC Stunt Coalition. Excellent group of guys and gals.
Okay.
So they in Gaithersburg, I believe, is a training facility, and it basically is showing you how to take bumps and falls and fight choreography, for the movie business.
Okay.
It's really fun too. If you're a physical person, I grew up also taking martial arts,
Okay.
and I wanted to be a stuntman at like 10 years old. I remember I told my mom, I was like, I'm gonna be a stuntman, and she would constantly hear, what's going on in the stairs, like all this bumping and stuff. I was teaching myself how to fall down the stairs. Like I literally rolled down the stairs.
Why do you have a bruise? Oh, no, don't worry about it.
It's okay. I'm stuntman Mike. I'm trying to get it. So yeah, I would scare the neighbors. I'd ride my bike really fast and like jump off the handlebars and just roll down the hill. And, oh man, yeah. So when I found out about the DC Stunt Coalition one time at AwesomeCon in DC, they were putting on a performance. And I was like, oh my god, I need to do this. This was maybe 3 years ago, and I turned to my wife. She was like, "Yeah, you'd love it." So I called them up, and they were like, "Yeah, come on in." And I was able to do it for a few months. I actually did a couple of projects with them.
Okay.
Unfortunately, life got in the way. I have kids and stuff, so yeah. So I had to stop for a while. I still want to get back into it.
Okay.
But it's a lot of fun, and DC Stunt Coalition is great.
So let me ask you, what is, let's say if you had to pick one, what is a very challenging stunt?
I think like a high fall.
Okay.
A high fall would be very challenging because, especially from like a couple of stories up, it's almost like you have to correct your body in the air to make sure you hit the mat properly so you don't die.
Okay. But not the double backflip, because you got that.
No, it's fine.
Right?
Yeah,
you got that on lock.
Yeah, that's easy. That's easy.
So are you so do you currently have any projects that you're working on with stunts, or what's your involvement with that right now?
I have not currently, but there is a movie that was filmed with the DC Stunt Coalition not too long ago that they're still doing post-production on. It's called Johnny Z.
Okay.
It's a project about a half man, half zombie who's taking out other zombies. I actually played one of the zombies in the movie. And it was a good time. We filmed out in Richmond, Virginia.
Okay. So like, for example, for me, I have a Taekwondo background. Pretty flexible. I'd say I'm 99% there with my splits.
Okay.
So if I join the Stunt Coalition, what can I learn from them? What can I'm sure there's a whole lot, but what are some like immediate tools that I can add, for myself?
So your background would be perfect because you already know, basic hand-to-hand combat techniques. I'm sure they would teach you more how to take a fall.
Okay.
But you would more so have to, pull your punches. It's direct. It's fighting for the camera.
Okay.
So, if you're really hitting somebody. But if you want to sell it for the camera, you have to, throw a punch in a certain direction. Yeah, and then you have to take the punch in a certain direction.
Okay.
To actually, what they call sell the punch.
Okay.
Or sell the hit. You have to sell it a certain way. So yeah, they're going to teach you how to take your fight training and to make the camera think that you're actually fighting someone.
Okay. So out of all the Marvel, DC movies, there's some memorable scenes. I think that's the one I want to pull out. Captain America versus the Winter Soldier. That stunt or that fight scene. They were on the bridge. That was an amazing fight scene.
Yeah.
So we can even talk about that. But what is one particular scene or fight scene in these Marvel movies or DC movies that you've seen that really kind of stuck out to you, and you saw that you were like, wow, that was a nice choreography?
Honestly, you brought out the best one. The Winter Soldier was probably the tightest, most concise, best Marvel movie of all time. Done by the Russo brothers.
Yeah.
Who also, Infinity War, Endgame, Civil War, they did those movies as well. But yeah, I think that choreography was probably the best in Winter Soldier. That fight scene you mentioned.
I'm not gonna lie to you, I probably watched that scene like 50 times.
Oh yeah,
right?
me too.
I wanted to, I don't know why, I wanted to know what happened with the first punch and the second punch. I mean, that was amazing.
And those guys did a lot of their own stunts as well.
Yeah.
But one of the guys who actually does a whole lot in the MCU of his own stunts is Tom Holland.
Really?
Spider-Man.
Okay.
That kid is a gymnast.
Okay.
Yeah. So
you know that.
Yeah. That kid is a gymnast. If you watch like the special features and stuff on like the first Spider-Man movie, which was Homecoming, he does a lot. Even in suit, he does even the motion capture.
Wow.
For Spider-Man when they're doing CG, because he is a gymnast and he can do all the stuff Spider-Man does.
Okay.
Tom Holland can do.
Wow. I
Oh,
know
yeah.
that.
Oh, yeah.
I learn something new every day.
Oh yeah.
So, well, Big Mike, thank you so much for sharing that with us.
No problem,
today.
Mike.
And thank you for joining us today for Two Guys in a Comic Book, and tune in next time.
So I'm here in the arcade with the arcade buffet.
Yeah, the arcade buffet. Yeah.
So all these machines are yours. Can you tell me a little bit about how you got into, acquiring all these machines and your journey through this entire process?
Well, it kind of starts off. It's a fairly long story, but the short version is, when I was a kid, I never got to go into an 80s arcade. I've never been in one, which is kind of sad. But when I was out with Mom and Pop, I used to watch them at grocery stores and all that stuff all the time, and I never had any money to play, so kind of, shortchanged as a kid, kind of thing. But so later in life, I found out that, I could own them, and I said to myself one day, I'm going to own a machine. And I said, well, I finally got one around, 99 or so, and well, it's grown to this day since. So I'm like, I got them, and here they are. So fast forward to now, and I've gotten a master collection, and I enjoy bringing them to conventions for people to play and have fun and smile and relive their childhood. So that's kind of what it is and how it progressed to here. So
and let me ask you, how did you get the name the Arcade Buffet?
Well, it's a play on some things. Play on me kind of way is I like to eat. So you call me buffet. Well, and when you go into an arcade, it's very boring if you have all of the same game or the same genre or all the same type. So my collection consists of many, many, many different types: fighters and shooters and shmups and beat 'em ups and just maze and platforming, all that stuff. So you can walk into places when I bring them to conventions or anywhere like that and have a buffet of things to play. So everybody is happy. There's classics, there's fighters, there's shooters, there's rail shooter, all kinds of stuff. So it just makes it fun.
Okay, well, Mr. Buffet, if I may call you that.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, well, thanks so much for bringing all these games. Definitely, I went through and I was able to relive some very important moments of my childhood. So thank you so much for that.
Absolutely, no
Yeah,
problem.
and we'll come back and see you again.
Yes, absolutely. Look forward to it. So
Thanks so much.